All right, hello. The Viking game lives. We are back. I'm your LDM. I'm going to be running episode 10 of the Horns of Cerunnos. I got some players here who are excited to play, I hope. And I got them to introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Knapp.
Hey guys, Andrew Knapp, SR2 Joker. Yeah!
All right, Dennis.
Hi, I'm Dennis. I don't have a channel to plug.
Perfect. Troy.
Hi guys, yeah, my name is Troy Spencer. I have a channel called DMT Tabletop Gaming. I run very little, but I do play in lots of games, and I put them up there as well. So if you want to see my immaculate role playing, you can check it out there.
All right, Chris.
Christopher Carousella here. I'm playing Alisandre the Cleric.
Alrighty, I'm Marquise.
I'm Surgical Strider. Come look at my channel if you want to see the games of the best person in the world. That's me, Bold and Beautiful. Thank you very much.
That's lame. All right. Since we last played, it has been one full year, and in that time, a lot has changed. The Fortress of Sori has become a home to many people, many followers, many hangers-on, and it's become a bustling little town, pretty much, that you guys are in control of. But in this time, you have wandered far and wide throughout the world, and you've taken various steps to do certain things. And I'm going to get you guys to tell me what that's been, and we'll start with Andrew Knapp, please.
Okay, for everybody's sanity here, I'm going to make it brief. I traveled all the way back home to the grove where I buried my sword hilt deep into a tree for my son to one day grow strong enough to pull out and then come find his father. I cut there now. There is a small town on a hill coming down to the edge of the grove. I'm slowly riding a brown horse. I'm overtaken by a sense of deja vu as I turn the bend and see that the town is empty. A strange feeling washes over me. My hand goes down to my left pocket and I feel a wooden cube. I've seen this before. Slowly but surely, I make my way down to the center of the town where the old well is. I smell putrefaction, Negrado. I jump off, quickly make my way to the edge. You see a weathered hand clench as I look over and peer down into the abyss. Somebody has filled it up with bodies. I turn and I look to the east and I say, oh no, Ragnar. I jump on my horse and take off. It starts pouring rain. I come up to the grove. I jump off, falling into the mud. Crawling up, I make my way to the tree. Laying in front of it is the mutilated corpse of my son and his nanny. I look at the actual oak itself. Planted deep in the heartwood is still the sword that I intended him to take out. I spit in derision. The camera pans from above. I pull out a holy symbol of Odin. I look at it. I clench it so tight. Blood starts pouring down into the mud. I tear it off. I throw it down. I look up and I yell, Odin! Do you hear me, Odin? Do you hear me? I forsake you, Odin! You traitorous dog! Slayer of my kin, you could not protect me from the elves. What good is a god that cannot protect his servants? Ah! And I fall down on my knees and lightning strikes a shrub and it goes up in flames. And then I hear the pitter-patter of feet. I stand up and I turn around and I see a portly, middle-aged man. Bulldog jowls, poorly kept constitution. It's Steiner, the man that I had left to take after my son, the man that has failed me. I stand up. My hand grabs the hilt of the sword. My knuckles turn white. I let out a scream as I rip it from the heart of the wood. I turn around. The sword has this sickly red hue to it, almost as if it's been quenched in blood. Blood from what I do not know, for no one has pulled the sword from the tree in years. I slowly walk towards Steiner. Now, Rangvald, take it easy, Rangvald. I didn't do this. This isn't my fault. I left the boy with you, Steiner. I left the boy with you! The sword goes up, and you see the camera cut to it as there's a flash of lightning. It is now 1 year later.
All right. Very cool. Vidar.
Vidar leaves a few nights after the events of last session, where he has given his oath to become protector of the keep. He is left in search of others of his kind to bring back with him to the keep. At the first night, when he is camped, he hears something in the darkness, and a figure approaches. It is another of his kind. The figure is bent, its haunch form covered in heavy cloth and fur. Glimpses beneath it, cast by the flickering flames of the campfire, reveal a bald head and solid milky white eyes. In his right hand he holds a large notched and carved staff. The hand is misshapen with 3 large fingers. Vidar gets a very unsettling feeling like deja vu from this figure, as the man introduces himself as Yosta, who is a seer. Although he doesn't understand the feeling that he gets from this individual, he knows that it's of some importance. So he speaks with him throughout the night, and he ends up accepting his help. The seer, Yosta, leads him up into the mountains, where he finds a small camp of his people. He, in exchange for an agreement of protection and shelter, these people join him. Among their number is Smed, who is a craftsman. Upon returning to the keep, the intent is for him to begin building up the defenses of the keep, as well as making alterations to make it more easily traversed by the more humanoid-sized people, as this keep was initially built by giants. The intent is also to begin working on some of the devices that they found the plans for in the upper part of the keep. Lastly, once he has sent the villagers to the keep, he continues on his journey. He is seeking more of the Dolmfer, the wild thunderwolves that he has discovered. He comes across a pack of them. Strangely enough, among their number is a male of his kind that he dubs as Ufa, who is basically a wild Yoten. He is unable to speak, communicate other than with hand gestures and vocal sounds, grunts and growls, but he seems to be a part of this pack that he has discovered, so he takes him back as well and makes him caretaker of the wolves that he plans on training and using as mounts for his people to create riders to protect and scout the area around the keep.
Excellent. Alrighty. Sorry.
So several months has passed since the encounter on the ramparts, where Sori almost came to her early demise. It's winter now, and you see Sori. She is walking throughout a encampment. All throughout there are tents, and above each tent there is a purple banner with a black trim. It is the banner of the Sisters of Fury, the scouting party and elite assassins that Sori has developed in her time since we last saw her. She has scouted many farmlands and many small holds throughout the area around the keep of Rosari, sometimes getting there in time to fight off the Alpha attacks, sometimes not so lucky. On 2 separate occasions in 2 small holds, she saw that the Alpha had arrived before she and her assassins could cut them off at the pass. In both situations, she found one lone survivor. In the first situation, she found a young girl, red-haired, freckled face, 14 years of age. It's shocking that she would survive such an ordeal from the Alpha attack. This girl, however, was special. She had magical talents. She was quickly embraced by Sori and brought into the sisterhood. She is a valuable asset. The second individual is the closest of friends to Sori. Her name is Asta Gunner's daughter. She was a large, strong female whose family was slain by Elfer at their small farm. Sori found her in the woods, surviving what Sori believes to be the entire winter by herself, hunting animals with the great axe she claimed from her father. She is wild of heart and spirit, but next to Sori, she holds her as her truest friend. Sori walking through the encampment, snow falling upon her. She hand gestures to these two females passing, just quick eye glances, and they're at her side as they go into the large tent, the central tent in the encampment. Inside they see the old woman that Sori had envisioned dying in the dreams that the Elfer had portrayed to her the last time we saw Sori in action. The old woman is still alive, the aunt that Sori owes dear, the hag of Raven's Gulch, sits across from her. She says to Sori, "The creature has come back. He's come back 3 nights now. He keeps taking the Elfer bodies and dragging them down into the ruins. We must eliminate him." So, with that, Sori walks out abruptly with her 2 companions, and they walk across the encampments once more and down into the ruins that once was a hideout for the Elfer. They hid there after their attack. Sori goes down, and as she approaches, she says something quickly to Freya, the young redhead freckled girl. She quickly casts a spell, and then she's gone. Where the snow was blowing in, it suddenly, all you can see is the snow hitting a form, but the form is invisible. You cannot see it. So the snow is blowing in, and then it just hits something and stops. The figure goes down into the ruins, and Sori and Asta wait. Moments pass, and then they go down together. Sori hiding to the shadows. She cannot be seen. Asta staying back a little, not wearing much clothes, holding the greatsword. She is also very quiet. As they approach, they go down the stairs quietly, and down there you see now what was the beautiful young 14-year-old female has changed her image. She now appears to be a corpse, her leg decapitated at the knee, her body pasty as if she has been dead. Sori waits in the shadows. Within moments, a large creature comes in. It's an insectoid creature. Mucus, slime, leave a trail. Sori waits. The creature approaches Freya. Freya is quiet. She's posing as if she's dead. The creature approaches more. And then suddenly, from the shadows, Sori lurches forward, jumping into the air, her 2 swords lashing out, quick succession. The serrated blade she retrieved earlier cuts deep, and the mucus slime oozes down the back of the creature. It turns away from the dead form of the Freya girl, and as it turns, its stomach is opened up by the gash of the greatsword from Asta. The creature falls, and they get to work harvesting its glands, for this will be a trophy for Auntie, for the hag of Raven's Gulch. More tools for the trade, more tools to help Rosari and the battles that come ahead.
All right, perfect. So then we move on to Alisandre. What have you been up to for the year?
All right. Alisandre sees the cold, blue, dead lips of the warrior move. She knows it's a dream. She's been having them ever since the man talked to her. She wakes up sweaty, heart beating like a war drum in her chest. She slides out from underneath the bare fur. Goosebumps instantly cover her naked body. She looks at the embers that are left in the fire pit. She grabs a log and throws it in. Her blue eyes stare at the wood. A tiny smirk appears at the corner of her mouth as a small flame appears, and the fire begins to feed off the new wood. She walks over to the ceramic bowl and uses the water as a mirror. Dark circles wrap her eyes. She looks crazed. Her hands dip into the bowl, and she splashes water onto her face. The cold liquid wakes her up. She quickly dresses and goes to see elder mother. The tent smells of lavender as she enters. The smell always calms her. She waits while the older woman finishes her prayer. The old woman stands using her cane, a bone from a giant. to help her up. She looks at Alisandre. Did you finish your morning chores? A stern look on her face. Alisandre has come to hate this look. It makes her feel like a child caught being naughty. I need to talk to you, Alisandre whispers. Speak up, child. I need to talk to you. A dead warrior. The other day, Alisandre says, quieting as she talks. While getting him ready, he talked to me. Quiet. Only the crackling of the wood can be heard. Olgra's voice breaks the silence. Nonsense, child. Go on about your chores. But I said nonsense. Now go. The rest of the day went by in the blink of a cold eye. She awakened that night by rough hands. The Jarl raped her over and over and over and threw her out into the cold woods. Go! The raven awakens her from this daydream. The snow has let up, she notices as she looks out over the snow-covered woods. She's been climbing this mountain for months. A kick at her belly. She looks down at her huge stomach. Any day now, she thinks. She leaves her shelter from under the tree and starts to move. At least the snow is to her back, she thinks, as the wind blows against it. The raven that she's been following lands in front of her and screams at her. Alisandre screams back, ah! In rage. Are we here? I've been following you for months now, bird. She thinks of the dreams and the raven speaking to her, calling to her, this itching feeling in the back of her mind, this knowing that she has to follow this bird for some reason. The bird turns its back to her, and it quickly grows into a human figure. Alisandre is shocked, hesitates. The figure turns, and Alisandre sees a pale face of a beautiful woman, black hair. It's tucked behind her ears, and it flows over her shoulders, eyes black, clothes tattered and bloody. The wind blows, catching her tattered, bloody clothes, and the smell of crimson and blood. The smell of blood. Alisandre can smell it on the air. Alisandre tries to cast a spell quickly, but becomes unable to do anything. She drops into the snow. It was hard to think. She can't even think. It's like this murky, drowning feeling, the scariest feeling she's ever felt. The woman walks towards her. Scared and confused. But everything is for a reason. She reaches out and touches Alisandre's stomach. Her water breaks instantly, wetting her clothes. Alisandre unable to do anything, while this woman takes her child after the birth. All of a sudden, she can think clearly. She tries to move, but she can't. I will keep him safe, says the woman. I will keep him safe, she thinks in her head. He is my child. The woman smiles. You are the danger, child. Who are you? Alisandre thinks. I am known by many names. The Washer. Badab. Alisandre looks at her child wrapped in this woman's bloody clothes. She knows this name, but it can't be. It's an alpha goddess. How? Why are you here? I follow death, child. And you, well, she smiles. Alisandre feels the negative energy crawl through her body. I know of your dark magic. I can help you control it. If you do not learn, you will kill all those you hold now dear. Images of the party flash through her mind, and the babe sits there scrawling in the cold mountain. I must go now, the woman says, and look over my cauldron. Badab, this is the babe. But you follow Alpha, Alisandre thinks. You are Alpha, says Vidar. She instantly feels the cold on her naked lower half. She looks at the blood-stained snow from the burst she never felt and begins to cry. But Dob held true to her word and helped Alessandra face her own self-made phantoms and the aspects of herself she feared. She taught her ways to control the magic and even communicate with the dead. Alessandra never saw her child, doesn't know if it's a boy or a girl, but Dob never spoke of it, though Alessandra asked repeatedly. She also asked how she was Alpha control this dark magic. Alessandra doesn't know why this Raven Queen is helping her, this goddess. The trip back to Rosari was a blur as Badab helped transform Alessandra. Alessandra can't wait to see the group. She crosses the bridge to Rosari and smiles and thinks of herself as her son and her lost baby she loves.
All right, we didn't catch the end there, unfortunately. Still good. Pretty big shock there. Finish it up, Marquise. Bring it home.
A man stands underneath the dark shadows, the dark boughs of a pine tree. His dark brown eyes look over a mountain pass as he observes the battle below. A woman with dark hair and twin swords fights neck to neck with a white alpha elf. They are evenly matched. There are other women, there are other elves. They are battling. The man is pleased with what he sees. The alpha is certainly skilled as he knows him to be. The women, however, are more skilled. Or at least he had assumed so, until the alpha elf fighting the main woman, the woman with the dark black hair, kicks her in the shin, throws dirt in her eyes, casts a spell, and sends her flying backwards. In a flash of an eye, the alpha departs. The woman stands, she sheaths her sword, she curses to herself. She finds a survivor of the raid. She looks around, scanning, making sure there's no more threats, and her eyes walk with the man underneath the boughs of the pine tree. The man smiles. The man nods. The man turns and he leaves. He knows how the alpha operates. He knows the alpha's minds better than the elves do themselves. He knows how their footsteps look through a forest. He knows how bark looks when they touch it. He knows the eating patterns, where they drink, where they're likely to go. He finds them with ease. On his back is a massive bow made of dark brown wood. He takes it off. He strings it. He's 300 meters away from the nearest elf, the same elf that was fighting that dark-haired woman. He smiles again. He pulls out an arrow, nocks it. He tastes the wind for a second, measures it, closes his eyes, takes in a breath. He opens again. He sees how the heat haze shimmers in the air around the elves. He sees how the movement of the wind in the branches can get in the way. He notices the birds in the trees and their nest. He pulls the arrow back. He closes one eye and he focuses on that alpha elf. He releases the arrow. The elf was fleeing for its life, fleeing to report back to its master. It was a solid, maybe 50 feet behind the rest of its party. It had a dangerous, deadly gash on the back of its leg, delivered by the woman he had been fighting. The elf will die soon, if not from this arrow, then from the poison. The man knows this, and so the man gives him the gift of death early. The elf goes flying to the ground, the arrow rising out of its back. The other elves are already gone. They don't notice what happens. And this dark man, wearing nothing but the furs of Thunder Wolf and Dire Bear, walks up and claims his kill. A day later, he appears in Rosari. The dark-haired woman is there, who introduces herself under the name of Sori. The man smiles. Gerard, his name is. And this is my entrance fee, as he drops the body to the ground. He leaves. Time passes. He speaks with Vidar, the half-giant. He teaches him hunting techniques, scouting techniques against the alpha elves. Eventually, more time passes. Another younger woman comes to Rosari. Her name is Brunhilde. She is as beautiful as the Valkyrie is in all the songs and stories. This man, Gerard, talks to her for a while. He falls in love with her. They sleep together. More time passes. More alpha attack. One day the Alpha get past Vidar, they get past Sori, they get past Gerard. They attack the innocents, the cooking women, everyone that's inside. Brunhilde is killed. Gerard is clearly not pleased. He departs in the middle of the night, and he tracks these Alpha down, through the forest, through the mountains, through the canyons, through the valleys, over river, over hill. They cannot escape him, and one by one he picks them off with another arrow. And always he takes the arrow back, the same one, and he uses it again and again. It never breaks, the stone head never chips. There's a magic to it, an enchantment, a gift from a god that the Alpha do not share. Odin's spear, Gungnir, is with every arrow this man Gerard lets fly. And so, one by one, the bodies pile up, the bodies of Alpha. And one by one, his reputation increases, Gerard's reputation. He returns back to Viseri. He hangs the bodies off the walls. The people either fear him or they love him. However, they value his skills. They value his ability. The tight-knit security network of the Viseri compound becomes stronger. He begins to bond loosely with Sori and her sisters, but he doesn't get too close. He never does. He doesn't believe in words. He doesn't believe in emotional connections. He's a man of action, and he proves that with every single Alpha that he kills. Eventually, the rest of the main party returns. Alisandre, Rangvald. He introduces himself. He proves his worth with another Alpha body. And so the story continues.
All right. So eventually, you all return to Roseri. Probably a little bit haggard, a little bit tired. You've been out and about, but you're finally coming home for good. And as you do, you cross the vast expanse of the bridge, about 100 feet wide, way more than that across, still about 3 times as long across this enormous chasm, hundreds of feet up in the air. And as you do, you hear cheers. They're back! They're back! Guards running back and forth, music playing, everything. As the many people who live there now are excited to see you come home. You're brought inside and you're met by an excited young boy who tells you, and he's freaking out. He doesn't know what to say. The Castellan and the Spymaster, they want to see you as soon as possible. Lots of big stuff has happened. There's giants and there's elves.
Sori steps forward, puts her hand out. She's like, "Calm, child. Where shall we meet these people? Where are they gathered?"
In the Great Hall, ma'am. I'll get them immediately. They told me to find you as soon as you came back.
Then off we should go. Before Sori walks off, she looks over to her friend Rangvald, and she looks upon his face, and he seems a bit haggard. He seems a bit distressed, as if some sorrowful, terrible thing has befallen him in her absence. She is concerned. She looks away. She doesn't address it at this time. She definitely sees upon him that something has saddened him. There's sorrow. It can be seen in his eyes.
All right, you guys make your way to this this grand hall, and in the center there's this big, huge wooden table, fires and stuff. People bring you refreshments, drinks, food, everything you could want, and eventually, your deputies would walk in. You've got Auntie, Sori's auntie, I guess, has been working as your spy master, spreading her agents all over the place, keeping an eye on things. Steinar has been acting as Castellan, running the place, keeping people in order. Yostu as the master of the arcane, using his magic to see whatever he can. And these three all look worried. Not one of them looks happy. They greet you, pleased to see you, but they all have pretty haggard expressions. How was your journey? I trust everything was okay.
There were elves. We killed them, of course. It was fine by my standards.
There are more. Towns, so this is Steinar. He begins to say towns of nearby have asked for our protection. The elf raids are getting more and more frequent, and they wish for protection from the great Jarl who dwells here. I didn't know if we would accept this offer. In return, they said they would offer. They would swear oaths of fealty and provide tribute. But that really is up to you, I suppose.
Gerard looks around to each and every one of us, and he looks back to the castle, and he shrugs and he says, "Which one of us is the great Jarl to make this decision?"
You are new. Surely look up if you want to see the greatest among us. And she looks up to Vidar, who she hasn't seen in several months. And she goes over and she clasps him by his large wrist. And she said, "It's good to see you, friend. It's good to see you well."
Vidar returns the gesture, taking care to be gentle as he does so. He offers a broad smile in return and a nod. "It is good to see you as well."
So what say you, Lord Jarl? Will you send us out to kill these Elfer?
Vidar chuckles at that, looking over the group. I don't think there would be any hesitation in this. I believe we all wish to get some payback on these creatures.
Well, that's well and good, my lord, but what these people need is a garrison. People who will stay in the village and protect it. They have very little at the moment, and we have plenty warriors here.
Villages are being plundered all throughout the realm, Jarl. What makes this village special? We should protect our gates.
This is true, but these villages are within your, well, the old Jarldom, when this was once a Jarldom, and now that there is someone in authority in the castle again, they look to you for protection.
And what did they provide the castle? Look, Sori's a cold-ass bitch in this conversation.
They would provide tribute, food, furs, things of that nature, and I suppose sons and men.
So they give us resource, and we give them protection. And I look to Sori and I say, "I believe this is a deal that would profit all of us, no?"
That's a fair trade. We've accepted this trade before with other small villages.
More than just resources, they would give you loyalty and swear oaths of fealty, which would mean you could call in their banners when you need them.
She's diverting her eyes to Rangvald at this time, and to Alisandre. They've been quiet to this point, which is not uncommon for Alisandre, but for Rangvald to be this quiet and not boasting that he's going to go and slay all of the Elfers is quite shocking to Sori.
Rangvald will walk over to a goblet sitting on one of the tables and pour wine sloppily all over it. He slowly raises it and puts it to his parched lips. He slams it down. He goes, "Ask them what the maximum tribute is they will give, and then tell them they will give us twice as much." And he knocks the goblet over.
Rangvald, these people have little. They provide whatever they can. That is usually the way of things.
They will provide all that they can for our protection.
Do you not think their oaths are good enough, Rangvald? I like the oaths of many people. She thinks of the power that it holds, a man owing him her word.
Oh, my dear, naive Alisandre. And I turn and I flip my cape. Oaths are for the fools not strong enough to fight their way into Valhalla.
Then Rangvald, if I may, and I kind of pick up a goblet of wine and I'm kind of swishing around, take a sip. Perhaps then instead of taking everything that they own, we simply take most of it and we train them to protect themselves, no? That way we don't have to give them so much.
We train them to protect themselves and we create a liability. No, I like the fools as independents.
My friend, my dearest friend, sadly it is not your decision to make. And she looks once more to Vidar, and she says, what say you, Jarl? We are your loyal servants.
Vidar, still grinning at that, paces a little, looking over the keep, all those that are assembled and the work that is being done as he turns back to the group. I have no need of these things these people may have, but their oaths are something that will have meaning for us. I say that we do this thing.
And our assumption is, Lloyd, that we've done this already. We've reached out and grown our little fiefdom around our Rosari castle. Yes.
Yeah, to some extent, yeah. These would be further afield. So the ones that would be right near the castle, you've been protecting those pretty much by proxy. But these are a little bit further afield, bigger towns kind of that would want protection.
And other holds and stuff have fallen from alpha attacks in this this time frame that we're looking at here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's chaos everywhere.
Yeah. All right, so the Castellan says...
Opportunity is afoot here, friends.
The Castellan says, very well, I'll send a regiment of soldiers to each of the villages. They'll be very grateful. Another thing, what would you say? A diplomat and 2 bodyguards have arrived from a nation, the nation of Yoten.
I'll draw my sword and start looking at it. Why don't you send them in?
Rangvald, these are three Yoten. They seek to speak. They've been here for about a month and they've caused no trouble in that time.
We'll see.
Rangvald, perhaps before we begin these negotiations, your sword should be put away and given to one of the squire boys, no? Perhaps given to one of the maidens back to your chambers.
I think I will stay for this little conversation, and I'll lean against the wall.
So he says, okay, I'll quickly grab them. And then it's not long later you hear. And these 3 Yoten walk into the room, all in pretty fancy gear, very fine chainmail, not armed at the moment. I mean, armed but not holding arms ready. And they walk in, and the one in front has this big long white beard. And he actually does a sort of sweeping bow. So even when he bows, he's probably twice as tall as you are. He says, well, hello. I am Ethelred, emissary of Ymir, God King of the Yoten. You are currently residing in the most ancient and sacred castle of the Yoten. Are you aware of this?
I look to Vidar, hoping for him to give an answer that won't cause problems in the castle room.
Likewise, and in the interim, I've also went up and flanked up beside Rangvald with my foot braced against the wall, standing on my one foot, and I'm kind of leaning upon him, just like shoulder to shoulder.
As they came in and spoke, Vidar was standing, his arms crossed over his chest. At the question, he nodded and says, yes, we are aware, as we were told by its previous keeper when we arrived.
My lord Ymir is not offended by your presence here. You have done well here. You have made it a thriving community once more, and this pleases the great Ymir. However, we will require some alliance to be made, some oaths to be sworn, for this arrangement to continue.
Really? So you request some form of payment for us for something that we already have, that we have earned, that I've given my oath for.
We do not wish for payment, we wish for a treaty, an alliance, to ensure that this castle does not fall into the wrong side of the war.
I see. So, forgive me, the way you previously stated it, it seemed like you were demanding something of us. But if you are wishing to form an alliance, that is something that we can then discuss.
Wish and demand. Perhaps a little of both. The treaty would be thus. You will be allowed to keep these lands and the castle. We will not interfere. We will leave a small detachment of Yoten warriors here to ensure that no Elfer are here making deals. You humans can be tricksy in your dealings.
And they will follow my orders?
That depends on your orders, but generally yes. They will not harm other Yoten. And they will not fight in your human wars. They are here to defend the place from Elfer.
So, if human forces lay siege to the place, they will stand by and do nothing?
That will depend on the nature of the siege. What forces are involved? They are here to protect the castle. If you are under siege from an enemy, they will contact Ymir and he will give them guidance. The other option, of course, is that Ymir comes here and takes the castle from you. This would be regrettable. Many lives would be lost. We are not seeking an enemy here.
But yet I whisper to Rangvald as I overhear the conversation, but yet they come and demand things of us. Their blood is spent. They are weak. I am not fearful of their demands or their challenge upon this castle.
I'm going to whisper back to Sori. We should take the one on the left. He has a little bit of a limp.
Good eye. I kind of reach over as I say that, and I rub the scarred face with the butchered eye of Rangvald's left side of his face. I kind of chuckle, like I'm not making an action to move on this guy.
At this point, Vidar will begin pacing in front of the Yoten. So, on one hand, I have a threat. On the other, a gift of a possible hostile force within my keep that may or may not follow my orders. That is the situation that you present to me?
You twist my words, Half-Blood.
You will hold your tongue! And I jump up and make a scene, flinging stuff off the table, when you are in the house of this lord.
Rangvald, perhaps you should. And I stand up. I stood up the moment he started doing that, knocking stuff off. And I look at him. I say, perhaps you should calm down a bit and let the Jarl handle his own matters.
The Jarl has put people like me here to deal with insolent whelps like these interlopers.
So when you jump up, the one who's talking steps back, and the other two step forward and draw these huge, huge swords, and just stand there. This is not necessary, and I will not be called an insolent whelp.
Yes, with you it's take, 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 take. Well, I have news for you. You come in here asking for favors, you kneel.
Rangvald. I have an apple in my hand. I kind of throw it to Rangvald for him to catch, and I say, Rangvald, please take a bite of that before continuing. And I look to the Jarl and I say, Jarl, I believe you should go ahead and just give them the answers you plan to give them before this escalates.
At Rangvald's antics, Vidar kind of chuckles as the other Yoten move to step forward and draw their weapons, he lifts a hand as well to kind of stay the situation. He doesn't quite reach for his own weapon yet, as the leader tells them to stand down. I will think on your offer, and we will speak more of it later. Tonight, I would ask that you join us in a feast, for we have just returned.
I think that is wise. Tempers have heated. It would be best to cool them with great food and mead. Put your weapons away, and the two guys respond in unison. Whoosh. We will see you at the banquet hall this evening, and hopefully we can avoid further such incidents. Thump, 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 thump. They leave the hall.
I'm going to immediately walk over to the apple that whizzed by me and landed on the floor, and stab it with my drawn sword and take a bite out of it. Off the end of the sword.
Don't you feel better now, Rangvald?
Well, they mean business. Are we going to give it to them?
So Steinar the Castellan is saying, my lord, I know there are but 3 Yoten, but there are 3 Yoten. They're enormous and clearly dangerous warriors.
Steiner, you do not know the bite of the Houndmaster.
That is true. I do not mean to underestimate you, my lord.
Well, that is something else we must consider. You speak of the threat of only 3, and yet they ask for even more of that number to be within the keep. Would that increase the danger?
Maybe we should consult the Yoten that we all.
Good call.
Dramatic exit. Maybe we should. And then the shadows.
Sorry.
Cliffhanger there, Troy.
I don't know where I left off.
You said maybe we should, and then you just...
Oh, okay. I was about to say, before I dropped, maybe we should speak and consult the Yoten we know before we lie in bed with those we do not.
Oh, yes. Steiner will say to you, Conquebor left several months ago. He didn't give much of an explanation. He said he felt a call he could not refuse and left.
So this fucking Yoten, and I say this fucking Yoten spent centuries here, and now that we need him, he is not.
Well, the Jotuns have a king now. It would seem that even if we do deny the offer, we invite more into the keep than they would give us anyway, my Jarl.
I'll turn and address the Jarl directly and say, my liege, let me say this. I feel if we do not deal with these Yoten now, we'll lose Rasiri faster than we took it.
It is their ancestral home. They will want it back, if not now, later.
How do we plan to fight off an army of giants, my friends? These are not elves, which I know how to hunt. These are legends. This is different.
If it was simply easy enough for them to walk over here and take it, they wouldn't have bothered with diplomacy.
Fair
Did they
enough.
state our common enemy? Did they state that Alpha was the reason they're here to protect this hold?
They implied
Yes.
it.
But they did not state it. I'm sure Alpha is their ancient enemy, but man now rules these lands. We will meet them again tomorrow, or we will talk to them further at the great feast tonight. Maybe we can get to their intentions.
Gerard, if we were to take these Yoten out, where would be the best place for an ambush within the actual castle walls?
From what I've been looking around at and everything, there are 3 very viable options. There is the main courtyard where we could station enough men, and the alcoves and on the parapets to rain arrows on them. There is the banquet hall where we could poison their food, or do something similar with those in the courtyard. Or we could simply go for their chambers. These walls are strong. If we light them on fire, the Sori will not burn. But I would suggest, Rangvald, and my dearest Jarl, that we not fight the Yoten, that we try to find common ground and deal with the Alpha first.
The Castellan Steiner says there's more. Many of the southern lords have retreated into their forts and are refusing to give any assistance to the villages around them. Alpha attacks are becoming more and more frequent. The forests hum with life suddenly. Hordes and hordes of Skog Alpha. And in the north, Kald Alpha are descending on unprotected villages while lords cower in their fortresses. Lord Gunn has been trying to rally as many men as possible to begin burning forests and destroying these forest homes, but many of the lords are too afraid to do so.
Castellan, Jarl, do you think if we protect these people, if we send them help, even if we go there directly, and we turn them to allies, could we become the next superpower in this land?
Perhaps. Might also be to our advantage to seek out this lord that is trying to do something and add him to our ranks.
You would know
Perhaps.
that Lord Gunn is king in all but title. So there is a king, a high king, but he does nothing really. He's a figurehead. Lord Gunn is by far the most powerful jarl in the land and controls a very large chunk of the southern part of the country, and is pretty much king in all but name.
So if we were to ally ourselves with him, that would be to our advantage. Plus, we could join our forces into dealing with these, and he'll spit on the ground as he says Alpha in distaste.
Joining our forces, while wise, is also dangerous. Just to remind you, my Jarl friend, the Jotun were not lying when they said that we humans are tricksy folk. I'm sure this Lord Gunn has kept his power through more than just fighting Alpha. I'm pretty sure he's backstabbed a number of his allies for their armies.
Vidar will chuckle as he looks over the others, remembering events that kind of spurred their power. Well, in that, we have no problems. He will need to watch his back as well.
I take a big bite out of the apple and start walking, swinging the sword. These giants have been here a while now. They must have been communicating with their masters. We should send some men out to comb the country yard to look for some kind of rat. I don't know if they're using animals. I don't know if they're using messengers. But mark my words, they're communicating somehow.
With the word men, you see Sori. She was just behind you as you jumped forward earlier. She steps forward and says, like, this is no job for a man, Rangvald. Me and my sisters will take care of it. And she like throws her cloak over her shoulder and leaves the common room where we've had this discussion. So as she leaves, you see, as she leaves and goes through the large archway, is immediately flanked by several of her sisters dressed similar to her, and she walks off. She is basically going to go and do a little scout around the periphery of the hold.
Sure. The Gothi steps forward, who's a half Yoten, and he kind of lurches forward. He says, "There's more. There have been an increase in the potency of the winds of magic of late. A great many portals have opened to Svartalfheim. A great many portals have opened to Jotunheim, different worlds joining ours. This is not usual. This is not regular."
The world tree blossoms, Gerard says, and he looks to the Jarl for his input.
This could be extremely dangerous. If permanent portals were established, then the Alpha could rush in huge numbers.
And do we have any knowledge of what is causing these portals?
Not exactly. There are certainly Alpha at fault. They've never been bold enough to do so, as my kind would have sensed them. And yet now they openly flaunt their magics.
Well, this is something of concern that we will have to figure out. And before I go on, is there more? And he kind of eyes the other ones.
The spy master, Auntie, will walk out and she'll say, there is in fact more. There's always more. Several local jarls have expressed displeasure at the sudden appearance of this jarldom. They once believed they had claim on this land, or that they would someday take it back, and now they're not so pleased to find a powerful jarl with many servants suddenly here. While they're not openly talking about war, there's definitely implied threats, implied discussions about maybe moving in on this land and having a stern talk with you.
I see. Is there one among them that is most powerful or is the most outspoken?
Yes, well, to some extent. Lord Beric, he has a lot of warriors. He's not a smart man, but he has a lot of warriors, and he is keen to prove himself, perhaps, against a half Yoten champion and his champion allies. It's not something pressing right now, but I would certainly keep an eye on it.
Oh, my dear Half-Yoten, I disagree. I think this should be answered immediately.
I agree. We cannot deal with the Alpha, we cannot deal with the Yoten if we have enemies in our backyard.
They challenge your throne, Houndmaster.
Yes, they will have to be dealt with. I think an example must be made to bring the others to heel in the hopes of securing our position with the least amount of bloodshed necessary, as even the most lowly of their men could provide it fodder against the Elfer when the time comes to face them. Perhaps we can use this situation to our advantage in dealing with some of these other things that face us.
Horns blow. You can hear them from here. There's activity. Suddenly, people running around, and a guard runs in. He says, "My lord, Alpha on the bridge. Only 3 of them."
And I take off running.
We'll do the same. He'll grab his hammer and start running full speed for the bridge.
Gerard follows, grabbing his great warbow and just chasing off after the 3 of them. 2 of them.
I would imagine as well, Sori would have already been ahead of this, being that she had disbanded earlier to leave the premises.
Yeah, Alisandre deep in contemplation at all of this talk. She's just been sitting there listening to everything, wondering how she can manipulate it into more power for Vidar to build this fortress. And she also starts heading towards it.
So you get to the bridge, and you see across the bridge are standing just three elves. One is clearly a Kaldaffer. He's got totally white skin, white hair, and he wears this long black robe, holds a staff in his hand. Next to him stands a Skogalfer, and he's got this big, wickedly curved sort of blade in his hands, braids, leaves, and stuff hanging off him. The third is something you haven't seen before. This is a Swart Elf. He stands much taller than the other 2, nearly 7 feet tall, very lithe, very wiry. And he's got this ridiculous, almost comically ornate golden armor on, muscled cuirass, and he holds a sword and a shield. And he looks towards you, and his voice carries, booming across the bridge. Um, And he says, I bring greetings from the esteemed Council of Three. You have taken control of this castle, you harbour Yoten, and you have committed grave offences against the Thane and his people. Due to these offences, you have been charged with treason against your rightful rulers. In return for surrender of Rangvald, of Frey Sorin, of Vidar, of Alisandre, and of Gerard, we will leave the rest of you unharmed. You will have 1 week to decide at which time our force will storm the castle and kill or enslave everyone inside.
An arrow lands at this elf's feet the moment he finishes speaking, coming from one of the nearby parapets along the wall. You can see Gerard standing there, standing between the teeth of the wall, bow out, another arrow already knocked.
And as the arrow was flying in the air, you see Sori look to the young, freckled female with the red, flaming hair. And she nods to her, a brief symbol of recollection, a brief moment, and then she casts a spell, and there's a portal opens up in front of Frey's sword, and Frey jumps through it. So she cast Dimension Door for Frey, who just popped up, and she's definitely going for the Arctic hell, being that she has quarrels with such species.
Oh yeah, I'm charging.
Alisandre smiles as she feels this negative energy, this energy that Badab has taught her to deal with. It pulsates through her veins inside of her, and she's grown to enjoy this feeling now that once sickened her, that once put her to her knees, that she couldn't even stand. Now that she can control it, she wants more of it. It's definitely becoming controlling of her. She smiles and begins walking as this negative energy pulsates through her, whispered words in Elfer. So anyone around her would may be able to hear that she's no longer speaking human, and I guess it'd be Iskloft. Iskloft. She's now speaking, whispering in Alpha as she's walking, standing there, slowly walking towards him.
So as the arrow thuds just in front of this Alpha, he let out a chuckle. So it's destruction you wish for. You wish not only for your own deaths, but the deaths of everyone inside this castle. All of these innocents will die because of your actions if you continue. This is what you wish for. Know this, inhabitants of the castle, that your lords care not for your lives.
Poof! The portal opens and Sori comes out the other side. She's behind the three. She doesn't attack immediately. She also was in another dimension while they were saying this, so she's unaware of what was said.
Yeah, I just want to plow into this king shit elf that thinks he's going to come up in our house and tell us what we're going to do.
So discussion is out the window, I guess, right? So we'll just roll initiative.
Would be the way of the party, I would think.
Right.
It would be the way of Rangvald and Sori for sure. All right.
I have a 7 total.
Oh, good man.
At a 16.
I rolled so well.
So I got a plus 10 here. So 19 plus 10, 29. It's pretty good. Sori comes out of the dimension door ready to hack. I'm sure you're okay with that. That would probably be the only time I use my henchman.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, yeah. 26 for... Oh, very nice. Okay, so I'm just... Okay, yeah, 7 for... Sharon, who's on top of the wall. Alright, bad guys. Okay. So you... Pulled. Oh man, it's bad. All right. So, sorry, your first act.
Alright, so you see Sori. She comes out of this black portal on the opposite side of these three Alpha. And you can see the pain and anguish just come over her face as she looks upon this Arctic elf. So this fuckers had killed her parents when she was a child, and she hasn't seen one since. She's been killing these woodland elves or whatever these other species are for a while now. But she hasn't seen any of these Arctic elves in her endeavors. So she's going for this guy. So you see her lunge forward. Will you give me the credit of having laced my weapon with one of the poisons that I have obtained prior?
Yep, absolutely.
She would have done so. So being that she also has assassinate, so she's going to roll. You're not going to give me stealth or advantage from coming out of this portal.
Well, he's not aware of you, so let's do it.
Alright, so I'm going to go. You see Sori coming out of this portal, not having heard their parlay conversation. She just lunges immediately towards this Arctic elf. So with the advantage roll on the first attack, I get a 22 to hit.
22. Okay, yes.
Alright, so I'm going to roll this on dice stream so we can count it. It's going to be 16-6 plus 2 plus 6.
Jesus.
That's with the poison. Actually, they get a save first, my bad. They get a poison versus serpent venom, which is a DC 11 con save, which you'll probably pass.
Yep, no problem.
You passed it?
You passed it, yeah.
Alright, so that's only going to be 10d6, rather. Plus 6. So you see Sori lunge forward, first with this serrated blade that's emanating this black energy. So that's a pretty good roll. 15, 20, 24, 30, 36, 42, 46 plus 6. 48 points of slashing damage.
Wow. Very nice.
And then with her offhand, she's going to attack again. And that's going to be 26 to hit.
Yep.
Alright, so that's going to be an additional... additional 7 points of damage.
Okay, so you appear behind this guy. And he turns and he snarls. He's got this face, really feral sort of face, very wolfish, glowing golden eyes. And he's not happy with you. Vidar.
Okay, well, Vidar wasn't exactly committed to combat, but it seems that there's little choice at the moment. So, who's the closest? Was it the one?
They're all equally far away. They're all across the bridge.
How far away are they?
That's going to be like 300 feet.
Okay. So I will. How does it work as far as like being able to summon my mount, the wolf?
I'd say you can do it as an action, and he'll just appear by your side.
Okay. So then that's what I'll do is I'll charge forward. I can move. Well, I forget. It's been so long. Can you still double move if you take an action, or can you not?
No, you can dash as an action, right?
Okay.
Unless you're a rogue.
So yeah, I'll move. I'll charge 45 feet, and then use my action to summon the Donalf.
Okay. So they're really far away. This is not fun. It's not going to be exciting. It's going to be you running a lot. So the Svartalf in the ridiculous armor, he will wave his hands around, and he's going to touch the Kaldalfer, and you're going to see this light flow from his hand and into the Kaldalfer, and his wounds close. And then he's going to move towards you guys. sword out. And then, Alisandre, you're next.
All right, so let me. These dudes are like 300 feet away. You said.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're 100 feet away because 300 is really boring.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, holy fuck, dude, I'll never get there.
Like the
All
bridge
right.
is huge, but it's gonna make for a really boring combat if you just run for a couple of rounds. So let's just say that it's 100 feet instead.
All right, sweet. So I will move forward as I was doing so. 30 feet. This negative energy pulsating through my body. I leave it in there longer than what I used to, kind of rolling it around on my tongue, tasting it, enjoying its flavor. And I speak out and wave my hand, Sky. And this green mist enters into the air and it starts creeping towards the closest alpha to me. And I need to make an attack. Does a 15 hit?
Which one?
The closest one to me.
No, it won't hit him.
Alright, so you see this green mist snake towards him through the air. It's almost a translucent green, almost weird. And as it goes to creep up his nose, he lets loose this breath, and it diminishes into the air. Now, move forward.
Oh, you broke up again there.
You will pass
Yo, Chris, you broke up. I can't hear anything you're saying. You sound like a robot.
You hear me?
Go again?
You.
Yeah, a little bit better.
So she wants to cast Spiritual Weapon as a bonus action.
Okay, no problem.
Alright, so out of the air appears this raven, but it's not an ordinary black raven. This raven's a skeletal figure. Its wings are skeletal. How the air carries it, I don't fucking know. And it begins to float towards the alpha. And this is a trick that Badab has taught her.
Sounds good. The alpha that you summon it in alpha, he actually looks in your direction, kind of quizzically raises an eyebrow, and then kind of grins. So after you, it is Rangvald.
So I'm running dead sprint at this thing, and I slowly raise my sword up in front of me, Crusader style, and I bend down and I kiss the hilt, and I say, "May the blood of this elf quench your thirst, my son." And I'm going to cast Hex on the one charging at me, and I'm going to give him disadvantage on strength.
Okay.
So maximum move.
Okay, no problem. Okay. The Kaldalfer is next. He turns to look at Sori, and man, that was a lot of damage, Sori. He is going to wave his hands around, and his skin will become covered in this granite-like stone. Covers him all over. And then he will Misty Step 30 feet further onto the bridge away from you. Because he's quite scared. That was pretty scary stuff.
So he's running away from the rest of the party?
Towards them, away from you.
Oh, smart move.
Yep. So he's 30 feet away from you. Okay, then it's going to be Gerard.
Gudmund, Gerard says, and a man's beside him standing there covered in furs and arrow in his hand. He nods, then he lifts his head. The camera pans in on his throat, where you see where a slash mark is. He cannot speak. Mund, Gerard continues, and you see a young boy there, long flowing blonde hair, too pretty for war, too pretty for any of this, really. Now, did you see how I fired that arrow at that one elf? And they both nod. Now observe and follow. This is how you kill an alpha. And he reaches back and he takes out another arrow from his quiver and he knocks it, pulls it back, and he says, "First you must watch how they move. Do you see that one that Sori is fighting?" And they both nod, and the one that kind of misty step backwards towards us is the one I'm aiming at. And he continues, "Now, he is a magic user, I believe, some kind of rune magic mayhaps, or a natural alpha ability. He is the most dangerous of the three. Who knows what he can do? And when you have someone like that, you take him out at the knees." And with that, I release an arrow, and as I release it, so do both Gunmund and Amund beside me. So,
Alright, so make an attack for you and attack for them.
alright. Wow, they're horrible fucking trainees, let me tell you. I got a 23 to hit. They got a whatever.
Yeah, they're going to miss, but you're going to hit. However, the arrow just clunk breaks off the stone of his skin, and he looks angrily in your direction.
I smile when he looks up, and I kind of nod at the other two as I end my turn.
Alright. Finally, the Skogulfer will turn to look at Sori and will rush forward and make some attacks at you. What do we got going on here? Oh, yeah,
So
okay.
is this the guy wearing the gold outfit?
No, the guy with the gold outfit has charged forward, and the Kaldalfer, the white elf, is teleported away. So you're just next to the wood elf, and he's going to rush forward towards you, and he's going to make some attacks. Okay. So one hit. So many dice.
You see Sori as this sword blade comes lashing forward. She kind of does a half pirouette, half double weapon move over to the side to try to uncanny dodge this attack.
Okay, so you take half, right?
Oh, that's right.
Okay, then you'll take 8.
I could take 8.
This blade slashes into you, and then with his bonus action, you need to make an acrobatics or athletics, and he's going to try and knock you over.
Good luck with that. 22 on the total roll.
If it's a draw, do you win or does the guy win? I think you win, right? If it's a draw.
I think defense wins, and I'm the defense in this situation.
All right, so he boom, smashes into you, and you manage to just about catch your feet as he does so. And then back to the top with Sori.
Now, I really want to get this fucker that Misty stepped away, but obviously I can't get through this aggressive attacker that's right in front of me, so I'm going to have to go through him to get to my true target. So you see Sori, after she kind of steps aside and puts her double blades over to get away from this attack, she lunges forward again with her serrated blade at this elf, which is much more familiar to her after having killed hundreds in the last year.
Yeah, you see he's carrying one of these Skogulfer blades, which is looks almost like a scythe, but longer and sharp on the inside. The way they fight is they wrap behind and pull.
One-handed, two-handed?
It's two-handed.
Alright, so I rolled 22 to hit.
Yes, that's a hit.
Alright, so there's nobody in combat with me, so I'm not going to get my sneak attack against this guy, unfortunately. Is that correct? There's no one else there.
Nope,
or is Rangvald is closed on not this person?
He's closing on the guy who's running further away from you. It's just you dueling this guy, pretty much.
Alright, very good. So I'm just going to do standard attack damage. 12 points of slashing damage.
Okie doke.
And on my offhand, I'm going to also attack, I guess. And that's going to be a hit as well. And that's for an additional 10 points of damage of slashing as well.
Very nice. Okay, then it's Vidar. So your wolf thuds to your side, skids to a halt.
Which one was running towards us?
So
White one?
the one with the golden armor, who seemed to be the leader, who did all the talking, is running towards you.
Oh, so he should be reachable by now then?
Yeah.
Okay, so then yeah, I'm going to Actually, I'm gonna send my wolf in first
Hmm.
to try to bring him down. Let's see here. So. Now, I wanted to double check because on the one on the page it said he had multi-attack, 2 melee attacks, but on the one it didn't say that he had multi-attack. Did he just get 1 attack or does he get 2?
He should get 2.
Okay. So 15. So 18 and 23.
18 and 23. Okay, he'll use parry to have the 18 not hit, but 23 will hit.
Okay. So let's see.
So the wolf leaps, he knocks it aside with the shield, but the second time snaps onto his leg.
Okay, so he takes 7 points of damage, and he has to make a DC 15 con save or to be knocked down.
Okie doke. That should be a strength save, I think. Right? Wolves usually knock down with strength. I think it should be strength. Alright, I'll call it strength.
I also think it's strength.
Yeah, I think so too. He has disadvantage on strength anyway, but I want to be legit. So he's got a 14.
Okay, so then the wolf takes him down.
Mm-hmm.
Let me change that.
Yeah, so this giant wolf leaps on top, knocks him to the ground. There's this clang as he hits the ground, and his golden armor makes a big noise.
Okay, so then I'm going to charge forward with my hammer. With him being prone, that should give me advantage, correct?
Yep.
Uh-oh. Come on, good numbers. Let's see, where is it? It's plus. Of course, I'm using the Hexen hammer. So 23 and 26. So 26.
He takes the hit, yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so first. Is 8, 11, 16, 22. And then 7 radiant damage. So 22
Okay.
regular and 7 radiant.
Alright. Yeah, so you crack this guy with the hammer. Pang! He does not like that. Then it's going to be his turn. He is going to...
I get 2 attacks.
Oh, go ahead.
So as the hammer strikes, giving a loud twang of the armor, Vidar just gets a feral grin as he brings the hammer back up over his head to smash down on the creature. So this one is 20 to hit.
Yes, that'll hit.
Okay. So 10, 15, 21 regular damage,
Okay.
and 8 radiant damage.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, so on his turn, this guy will, like the other, vanish and then appear 30 feet away, face to face with Rangvald. And he will say, You are the one who insulted the Thane. You will pay for your insolence.
I smile.
And he is going to try and hit you with the spells. I'm going to need you to make a wisdom save.
Okay, let's see.
DC is 16.
Nope, fail.
All right, so he looks at you and he says, Stop. And you are paralyzed and unable to move. And he gets this wicked, wicked smile on his face. Yes. Yes, you can still hear me. You can still feel the pain I'm going to inflict on you. All right, then Alisandre. So this guy's pretty close to Rangvald. He's standing right in front of him, and you're close to that.
All right. So I want to ask you, my spiritual weapon is skeletal raven. Because Sori,
You're breaking up again. You've vanished.
The Alpha claimed their first victim.
Right, yeah.
all right. So
No, you're still gone.
There's no escape.
yo,
Hey. You want to maybe type it, Chris? You're just breaking up a lot. You can't seem to get a sentence out. All right. So, Rangvald.
What's my action to try to break whatever it is?
It's a wisdom save. You don't have Indomitable, no? Is that you get that later?
No, that's a level 9.
Okay.
Okay.
So his whole person upon you.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
Nope, that's a fail. I will action surge. Well, actually, there's no point, because if I just break it, then it'll just waste the turn, so I'll just stand there.
Okay, sorry. The Caldolfer, now closer to the rest of you, is going to yeah, let's do that. He's going to fire a bolt of lightning. Clouds crack and lightning strikes his hands, and he controls the ball of lightning and throws it in the direction of Vidar and yeah, just Vidar. So I'm going to need you to make a dexterity save.
$19.
19. Okay, so you're going to take half. Ooh, it's a good one. It's a real good one. All right, so 17 points of lightning damage to you, Vidar. Lightning bolt cracks. Well, I guess the wolf as well has to make a save. Forgot about that.
$9.
9. No,
Yeah,
so the wolf's going to take significantly more. I've moved the dice already, I forgot. What did you take? 16?
17.
17. All right, so,
So
34.
34.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this lightning bolt crackles past. Some of the wolf's hair is singed off, and it kind of sits in the electricity for a second. And the Caldolfer gets this wicked smile on his face. And then we're going to go to Alisandre.
yo,
What's up?
do I sound Mr. Roboto?
You sound better now.
All right. So, fuck. Let me get my bearings. All right. So I wanted to ask, this skeletal raven, can Sori use that as an ally to get her sneak attack?
I don't think it's a weapon, right? So I don't think it counts as a creature or anything like that.
So our direct connection to the it will start running towards him.
Towards which one?
The one that Nap's fighting with.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
And I will also cast Sacred Flame at it.
Okay, sounds good. So he makes a save, right?
Yep.
Oh, he fucking fails that.
Alright, so that will do 1d8. 6 points of damage.
Alrighty.
At him, pecking at his face. Does a 22 hit?
Yes, it does.
And that would do 3 points of damage.
All right.
So as this happens, Alisandre is also weird. Though the
Man, I wish I could speak binary.
related to him.
We gotta get this internet connection sorted out, man. I can't hear anything. You've gone robot again. Sorry, man. Okay, so then, who the hell's turn is it?
Or maybe top of the order. Could you try to get him back into
Gerard
no,
hasn't
it's-
had a turn yet.
Yeah, it's Gerard. Yeah.
So, kind of matching the grin that the Coward Alpha has is Gerard standing there. And as the thunder kind of echoes outwards, as I imagine it would, across all of Sori, among the blonde-haired archers kind of cowering now behind his little parapet. Gerard, however, is just amused, happy. He feels adrenaline, wow, pumping through his veins. He turns and looks to his right, and he sees Gunman there, and Gunman has the beginning of fear in his eyes. Gerard only shakes his head. "Not to be afraid," he says, as he reaches back and he grabs another arrow. "Alpha are just like men. They bleed, and those that bleed can die." And as he pulls out his arrow, he actually flips it around and he rushes his thumb over the stone head of it. It begins to bleed. And as he bleeds, he says, "Our All-Father, Odin be thy holy name." And he knocks the arrow and pulls it back all the way and aims it at the Called Alpha. "Ragnarok will come," he repeats. "Fate will be done." As I use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on that guy, and then I make a ranged attack, and then the archers do as well.
All right, sounds good.
Wow, Jesus Christ. Alright. So I got a 13 for me to hit, and they got a 20-something to hit.
The other Caliber still has stone skin on them, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. God damn it. At least it sounded cool.
It did sound good, yeah, yeah.
It's
All right,
only
so again-
resistance, though. It's only half damage.
Right, yeah. So your arrow will fly short, but the two guys are pretty determined to do it. And you see two arrows crack the stone just a little bit. All right. Wait a second. Whole person is concentration question mark. Anyway, I'll figure that out in a sec. Skullgolfer is next, the guy who's battling Sori, and he's going to go and make 2 attacks against you. And we're looking at a crit and a hit here.
Whoa. Okay, I'm going to use my uncanny dodge definitely against the crit attack.
That makes
So
sense.
she's in full defensive mode against this creature. Her focus is not even on this target. Her focus is on the Arctic elf that has run away. But for a brief moment, as these swords or this curved blade comes in, she sees the glint of it, and she takes a defensive posture. So half damage.
Okie doke. So you'll take 13 from the crit, that's half. And 15 from the normal. Wow. So this guy is he's wrapping his blade like behind your limbs and like pulling back, and you're getting these big huge cuts on the back of your legs. He's got this snarling expression. Whole person's concentration, so you're not stunned, Rangvald, anymore. That guy failed his save for sure. Then it is Sori's turn.
Okay, so you see the young female that Sori had been with in the beginning, and she had casted the dimension door that got Sori beyond the elf invaders. She suddenly reaches out, seeing Rangvald now moving, and she says, "Get back into the fight." And when she does, she pulls out a little pouch of iron bits, and she blows it upon you, Rangvald. And suddenly, I'll let you narrate as you have enlarged cast upon you.
How big does enlarge make me?
I think it just doubles your size in all dimensions.
I start pulling at myself as I just grow twice my normal size. All my armor buckles under the weight of my body. And I shout out at the sky, not knowing what's happening to me.
Nice. You could have rolled a Constitution save to prevent it if you wanted to, but you can hawk it out for a moment.
I think all your stuff grows with you. It's part of the spell, but
Yeah,
it's
the
way
only-
cooler if you break out of everything.
The only benefit you get is you get a D4 to your damage rolls, because your weapon is now enlarged as well. So, Sori, having engaged this Alpha and taken this blow, I've taken a lot of blows because I'm almost erased through my character sheet by this point. She's going to take a disengage action, and she's going to run her full distance and re-engage with the Arctic Elf.
Alrighty, sounds good.
But instead of attacking, that was a bonus action to disengage. So instead of attacking, as she gets closer and this Arctic Elf wheels around upon her, she realizes she's not in a position to continue her attack, so she's going to take a defensive action.
Okay, that's dodge, right?
Dodge, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Vidar. So the one who was fighting you has teleported next to Rangvald. You can still get to him. You're muted if you're talking.
Sorry, I was talking to one of my boys.
No worries.
So the one that I was fighting poofed, and that's the one that Sori is now engaged with?
No, Rangvald.
Rangvald is engaged with. But it's close enough to me where I can reach him.
Yeah, you could also reach the wizard.
Sorry, the wizard, he hit me with lightning that last round too, right?
That's true, yeah.
So as Rangvald stands there, his wisp of smoke coming up from his skin, black marks dotting the blue hue. His eyes widen as the rage takes him. He roars out as he charges full speed towards to the one that attacked him. And for the first action, he's going to use the unstoppable charge, where basically he's just going to slam into the guy full speed using his momentum. So, let's see. I make just a regular attack roll to start with, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So, oh yeah. Natural 20.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
So, it gives me +5 to damage, and I get +2 from rage, so that's +7. And I get double crit dice, so instead of 4d6, I'm rolling 8d6. So that's 5, 10, 14, 21, 25, 27, 33, 38, 40 for the first hit.
Okay. That's fine.
And he needs to make a dex save versus 12 or to get knocked down. or knocked back 5 feet.
Okay, he makes that.
Okay.
He's going to use a reaction to summon a fire under you before he gets fucking mauled.
Okay.
Okay, we're looking at 17 points of fire damage.
Well,
You fucking... And then he goes, whoa, fuck!
as he does that and the flames lick around my flesh, I just grin as I take no damage, as I am now enraged and immune to all but psychic damage. As I bring my hammer back to take another...
Motherfucker.
Okay, first, yeah, I gotta roll an attack. Ooh, that time, 20, that was almost another 20, 27.
Yeah, that'll hit.
So, oh shit, I didn't even do the radiant damage on that last.
Alright, oh, this is a hit. You're going to kill him, so go ahead and narrate it.
Okay, so basically, yeah, he charges forward, running full speed, moving faster and faster each step as his vision locks on this creature that dared strike him. Using all of his momentum as he brings the hammer back and swinging it forward with his momentum, slamming the creature in the chest, causing it to stumble back a step. And reaction, flames erupting around Vidar, who seems completely immune to the effects. In fact, it brings a low rumbling laughter from his chest as he just brings his hammer up, smashing it straight down on the creature's head, driving his head down, completely down into its body, and then kicks it over, turning to face the two that remain.
The two that remain look very worried. After Vidar, it is, okay, the guy in front of Rangvald. He's going to look in absolute abject terror towards the powerful wizard who's just been crushed to death. And he'll make eye contact with Rangvald and say, "This is not over. We'll be back. We've made... This Vidar has made powerful enemies." And then he will and appear at the end of the bridge next to the Skogulfer. Then Alisandre is gone. Rangvald.
It's too far for me to do anything.
Skogulfer's dead. Gerard.
You're
All right.
enlarged. Maybe your speed is increased as a large creature would be.
Not
No,
that far.
they seem to be
dash,
fleeing. So
Yeah.
So seeing this guy kind of disappear with some crazy evil magic and goes to the end of the bridge. How far away is the end of the bridge? It's what, 300 feet or 100 feet?
It's 100.
100 feet? Okay, so I nod at him with both Amund and Gormund and everything, and first I kind of raise my arrow and I close one eye, and as I do, this soft breeze blows over him as I move my hunter's mark to him with a bonus action, and then when I shoot at him with the arrow, I'm trying to wound him with the Predator Domain ability. So I'm taking specific aim, and I'm kind of like narrating to myself about all the different facets of how Alpha's body works. And I name several tendons in the right leg, and then I take aim for the right leg, and I tell the other two to aim for another leg and one of the arms.
Good.
All right, so I got an 18 for me to hit.
Yep.
All right, and the two archers got a total of only 14.
Okay, they're going to miss.
All right. So I'm going to also go ahead and expend, because I have the feat for having a battle master maneuver. So I'm also going to expend it to do a trip attack. So you just make a DC 16 or 17, I believe. I'll double check on my character sheet. Yeah, DC 16.
All right, 17 on the die.
All right, so he passed it, and then I get a total of. Wow, my damage sucks here. 1 second. That. And then another D8. Well, yes, it's 5, 11, 11 plus 3, 14, 14 plus 5, 19 points of damage, and he's going to be wounded. As I basically, the arrow goes through one of his legs and severs several of the tendons.
All right, sounds good. All right, he's definitely upset. The Skogulfer is going to turn and start running away like a girl. Sorry.
Him running away, is that going to trigger any attacks of opportunity? Or this is the one that's already...
You're not engaged with him, yeah.
He just teleported away. And the Arctic elf is the one that's been slain by our...
He's been killed, yeah.
Thane. God bless you, Thane. You've made me very happy. So I'm going to turn and try to chase down these elves, even though it might be impossible to do so.
All right.
You must forgive me. I've lost track of where we are upon this bridge.
No problem. You're probably halfway across. They're at the end of it, and one of them's starting to run. You could keep up with them potentially, but they're going to start running anyway.
No one else is coming with me, so I'm not going to be an idiot to engage.
Well, the other one that I wounded has half movement speed, and so if you looked up, you'd see that Gerard is still taking aim and trying to kill the one that he already shot.
All right, so I'm going to definitely try to catch up and finish that one off if he seems to be injured.
Okay. Yeah. So the other one is not going to wait for him. He's going to keep running. So go ahead and tell me how you murder this guy. You're going to catch up with him.
So using my dash action as a bonus action, you see Sori. She spins on her heel as she sees her target fall underneath the weight of the maul of her half-giant friend. Immediately turns as she sees the other one teleport away in some kind of magical spell, and she just sprints full speed. And as the arrow cuts into the tendons of the right knee of the fleeing elf, and he falls. Just moments later, as he struggles to get back up, his back is an arch, and Sori jumps into the air, and with her two short swords, just digs them in deep into the body, into the sides of the two creatures, cutting into its internal organs. As he pulls the weapon out, the serrated blade comes out with something: kidney, liver, spleen, God knows. But with it is a gush of blood, and the creature falls face down. Sori standing upon it and watches the last of the three flee into the woods.
All right. So yeah, you've
as the second one is taken down by Sori and the last one flees, Vidar lowers his hammer to the bridge with a loud thud as he roars out, "Run! Run to the ends of the world, I will still bathe in your blood," as he reaches down with one hand, tearing off the mangled head of the creature, lifting it up, and allowing the blood to splash down on himself as he shakes the body, then throws it over the bridge.
Nice. Yeah, so the remaining one flees away as quickly as he can. Pretty frightened by what's happened here. And that's the end of combat. So I'm going to end the session there. What would you guys be doing now? Of the things we talked about, all the different things that you would be capable of doing, like helping the villages or whatever, what would your main objective be now?
I want to know if it's possible for Gerard to gather up like his hunting people and just try to track where these elves came from.
Absolutely, yeah.
As Gerard... Sorry, go ahead.
Troy. No, go ahead, Troy.
I was just going to say, as Rangvald is going in a hunt of this last elf, Sori's main immediate objective is to go back and get the head of this fallen Arctic elf from Vidar, as that's a trophy that she was in search of in this combat. So she's definitely trying to get that body.
Well, he threw the body off the bridge, but the head is on the bridge. He ripped the head off and left it on the bridge.
Well, that's a true trophy. So you see Sori approach you, and she says, "Vidar, friend, may I relinquish you of your trophy?" And she reaches out her hand for the decapitated head that you still hold in yours.
He grips it by the hair in his large hand, still grinning madly, now covered in blood, as he holds it out to her.
And as she reaches out with her two hands and she holds it, you can see the emotion, the sorrow, the unbridled things that she's been dealing with for 6 years all come upon her at once as she falls to her knees. And for the first time in all the sad things that you guys have encountered together with Sori. You see her fall to her knees and the tears start to flow, and she's overcome with sorrow and sadness as she looks upon this Arctic elf.
Vidar would kneel down in front of her, still towering over her, and lay one hand on her shoulder as he says, "I promise you this is just the first of many." And then he'll rise and leave her to her moment as he re-enters the keep.
I'm going to run up to Vidar as he's re-entering the keep, and I'll be like, Vidar, Vidar, Vidar.
Yes.
Our enemies are all around us. Elves, giants, jarls. I recommend we do something immediately to cull the human threat because it's a potential ally.
Agreed. I would also wish to dine with these Jotens and take their measure to see if perhaps they can be used, because we will have to deal with that as well, but I wish to deal with this threat, this Lord Barrack who seeks to usurp us and take what is ours. He will be dealt with, and dealt with harshly. He will be made example to the others.
I will speak to Steiner immediately and let him know of our plans.
All right, so it looks like we've got a raid on our hands next game. Sounds good to me. So thank you to my wonderful players. We've got SR2 Joker, Dennis Kellogg, DMT, Tabletop Gaming, and Stereotypical Strider. Thank you very much, guys. And of course, Christopher Caracella, who unfortunately had some technical difficulties. So thanks everyone for watching, those who did, and we'll catch you next time.